Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are talking about realistic hair. There are so many mistakes just like this in drawing hair, but we will try to fix it today by just focusing on those mistakes and fixing them. This is the 5th video of Art Mastery Cafe. If you haven't watched the first 4, I'm putting it up right here. I put all the materials I used in the description part, and also I have a surprise for you. It's also in the description part. Don't forget to check it out. Let's draw some realistic hair. The very first mistake I want to talk about is the straight lines when you're making the straight hair. So of course straight hair has straight hair lines, but then we have to be careful because I see a lot of people do up and down lines and that's it. But straight hair has more than that. It has shadows, it has highlights, and also sometimes it curves. You have to give those curved areas more curved look. So here you can see that hair has different directions, especially towards the end of the hair. So I have to give all those effects in the straight hair. And you have to make sure that your pencil is sharpened when you're drawing realistic hair, because otherwise it's not going to give the same result. I sharpened my pencil constantly during the creation of this artwork. Of course, we have to also blend and give those midtones as well. Forgetting the scalp is another problem. A lot of young artists, when they draw the hair, they forget about those hairline where the hair splits. But it is important to draw the scalp a little bit because in real life, there is some kind of skin showing there, and actually you can see the roots coming out of the skin. In order to make it more realistic, here I will show you how to do that. Let's say you forgot to edit, then don't worry, you can always go back and add those with your eraser pencil just like this. I am following the reference photo and I'm putting all those areas that the scalp is showing, and then after this you can always go back and add those roots of the hair. Usually the roots are the darkest and then it gets kind of lighter towards the end of the hair. Here you go. Straight bangs is another problem that I see. Of course, if the bangs are straight, it's going to be straight, but I see a lot of up and down motions like this, just coming just straight and equal length and the same density everywhere. But normally bangs are not like this. And if you don't have sharpened pencil, you're gonna get a result like this. But in reality, if you wanna get a more realistic result with your bangs, then you have to sharpen your pencil first of all, and then you have to look at your reference photo and see where the bangs are ending, where they get less dense, where they split, where there is a highlight, and where there is more darker shadows are. So that's what gives the bangs a more realistic effect. This is a pretty dense bang, but what I do is I am adding that split that I see in the reference photo. I'm adding more shadows at the ends, and also there will be highlights in the middle. Another problem I see is the flat hair ends. So the hair ends are not as flat as like this, unless you just had a fresh haircut. That doesn't look realistic, does it? So how can we do that? Just look at the reference photo and see how the hair splits in the end. There are some of them growing towards left, some of them towards right, maybe the wind is blowing. Some of them are shorter than the others, some of them are longer than the others. It is important to do the endings of the hair, different lengths and different directions. Drawing the curls is another challenge. So some artists do the curls just a little bit lighter or different tones, and they highlight them like this, contouring them later, trying to give the realistic effect like that. But of course we are not doing contouring because it's not the best way to go for realism. So the best way to give the curls the realistic effect is playing with the light. The brightest parts will be, of course, the curving parts, the ones that are closest to the weaver where the light reflects from, and the darkest areas will be further away from the weaver, so it's going to be dark. The other curl will cast shadow on the other part of the hair. So first you create your midtones, darkest areas, then you add your highlights. Your curls will look realistic already. Forgetting the flying hair is another common mistake. Flying hairs make your hair more realistic because almost everyone has flying hair because of the maybe static or maybe because of the wind. I'm about to draw one on the left right now. You will see how it's going to change it, how it's going to make it look more realistic. Here. Perfect. And on the right, I'm going to add more. Making blonde hair dark. Another challenge for drawing artists is the blonde hair because you have black pencil. How are you going to do the blonde hair, right? If you put every strand of hair just like this, you're gonna get a very dark result. She's not going to look blonde, she's gonna look like she has brown hair or black hair. Especially when you add the roots, which are much darker in nature than the rest of the hair, it's going to even look darker. So how can we avoid that? Instead of entering all these hairs one by one, we should outline first the clusters. So the clusters of hairs, once they're outlined, it's going to be easier for you where you can put your shadows and where you can find your highlights. I'm adding all the clusters right now that I see. I'm outlining them very roughly, as you can see. And then after that, I'm going to add the darkest shadows I see, the root of the hair, other darkest areas that I see. And then I will blend, because when I blend, I'm going to have a very nice mid-tone in addition to the shadows. Blonde hair is not completely white, so I want to give that effect. I erase the surroundings. I will do the darkest areas one more time with my pencil. And then with the help of my eraser pencil, I'm going to go in, give all these highlights. Here I'm going in with my eraser and you will see the difference. So in general, what we have here is the importance of the highlights and darker areas, darker shadows. We shouldn't forget, of course, the flying hair and the hair ends. They're not flat. They should go different directions. They should have different lengths. And in the blonde hair, we should make sure that we highlight enough so that it doesn't look brown or black hair. But with the help of our eraser, we can give all those highlights and give the hair a blonde look. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I post helpful tutorials for you. You can find the real-time tutorial of this video on my Patreon website, patreon.com/Ece Gurler. See you in my next video. Bye! Thanks a lot for watching this video. If you like my videos, please don't forget to subscribe and visit my website, ecegurler.com. Stay with art and love.